Welcome to the Careers by Jenn podcast, episode 156. On this episode of the podcast, Jenn offers 25 questions for your year-end reflection. That's right, friends. The year is over, which means it's time to roll the credits on 2017 and cue the theme song. Yada-dum-dum-dum-dum, yada-doob-doop-doop-doop-doom, deep-dee-dee-dee-doo-doo-doo-da-da-bum-bum-bum-bum-bum.
Hey there, this is Jenn Swanson, and you are listening to the Careers by Jenn podcast, the podcast that helps you to get the job, to love your work, and to advance your career. It is December 20th today, 2017, on the day that I'm recording this, and it's gorgeous and sunny and snowy outside my window. If you follow me on Instagram at Careers by Jenn, that's Jenn, you'll have seen some of my snow pictures. I took one yesterday when I was sitting waiting for my electric car to charge, and I realized yesterday that the cold temperature, we've only had this little used car since the summer, and the cold temperatures make the battery not go as far and not last as long. So I had to sit at the city hall in the town where my church is that I work at and charge the car before I could make it all the way home. And so I plugged in and I went inside city hall, and I was going to go to the library, but the library is under construction right now. So I sat in the foyer and was looking out the window, and there was this beautiful scene of these trees and these benches covered in snow. So I posted that on Instagram if you want to take a look at that. And we also had some little critters visiting our driveway last night, and I took a picture of some raccoon footprints and put those on this morning. So if you're interested in snow at all or in those photographs, come on over to my Instagram and check that out. We've already had our big family Christmas dinner. We do it a week in advance. So all of that is done. All of that preparation and cooking and organizing and cleaning the house is done. And so that makes it really nice this week because it feels a little bit more spacious somehow. Now, because for many, many, many people, this week is a particularly busy time of year, I recognize that you might be a little bit too busy to do what I'm about to talk about this week. But I'm hoping that you find time somewhere, even if it's not this week, if it's next week, to do some of this work somewhere in the remaining days of the year 2017. And even if you don't have time to sit down and do this fully, take one or two of the questions that I'm going to share with you and let them roll around in your brain as you're working or you're driving or you're going somewhere. Let them roll around in your head and your heart and see if you can answer them, because any amount of this work is good for you. So what am I talking about? Well, I am talking about taking time to stop and think and to reflect on all that has gone on this year, the year that we're almost finished. And if you're listening to this in a future year, it works for any end of year. So just substitute the 2017 that I mentioned for whatever year you're listening to this in. What is so good about reflection, you might ask? Well, it's an opportunity to pause and to look at all that has gone on with some intentionality before we go barreling into 2018 and all that is yet to come. Before you can set goals for the new year, and I don't really like using the words resolution, New Year's resolutions anymore. But I think goals are more achievable and are a better word to use. So before you can set goals, you need to know where you are at and where you have been. So reflection is an opportunity for self-awareness and for self-growth. And I'm all about self-awareness and self-growth here at Careers by Jenn. The more you can recognize who you are and how you are being in this world, the better the world will be. And I'm serious about that. What happened this past year that gave you joy? Where and with whom did you share your passion and your gifts and your talent? What mistakes did you make, and what did you learn? Those are just a few of the questions. And so taking some time to reflect intentionally on these and all the other questions I'm going to share with you is such an important tool, both in career advancement and in your life in general. It is a mindfulness practice. It is what is called conscious living. It's hard to embrace the new if you haven't yet released the old. And in order to release this last year, it's a good idea to take stock of it and figure out what worked, what didn't work, what level of control you have going forward. And reflection allows you to do that. And it allows you to choose what might happen next. So before we get into goal setting and plans for the new year, I highly encourage you to take a breather, to take some time to reflect. Take 45 minutes, take an hour, somewhere quiet with a glass of wine or eggnog or kombucha or tea or whatever beverage it is that you desire. And you can journal your answers to the following questions. You can just write them on old-fashioned paper with a pen, or you can type them into a device, or you can, if you don't like to write or to do that, then just sit with them quietly and answer them for yourself. This is all about you and your life, what has happened, what has not happened, and where you are at right now. And once you know that, once you have some perspective on that, once you have brought all of that into some kind of intentional focus for yourself, only then can you make really solid plans for going forward. This episode is not about looking forward, though, not yet, because we're not there yet. This episode is about reflection and looking back over your year, the year that was, so that you can learn and you can imagine and you can appreciate and you can celebrate and you can enjoy the bits that were good and work through the bits that weren't so good. And then once you're done that, you can let go and you can truly start fresh. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to read 25 questions for you. There are many more, and you might even come up with some more as you go through this, but these are some of the main questions. I have 25 questions for you. I'm going to read them slowly, and you can pause and think between each one if you want to pause the recording, or you can write them out, or you can just listen all the way through and see what resonates, what sticks with you. It's your call. My hope is that these are useful questions for you and that they inspire some deep contemplation, some deep reflection, some good solid thinking and soul searching and exploration for you. Okay, enough of me going blah, blah, blah. Let's jump in to the 25 questions. Here we go. Number 1, the most important thing I did this year, or the biggest goal I achieved this year, was. Number 2, my biggest career accomplishment, provided this is different than question number 1, my biggest career accomplishment was. And the idea is that you just fill in the blank. Number 3, the biggest challenges or obstacles I faced this year were. Number 4, one mistake I made this year was. And maybe you have more than one that you want to explore. But what was one mistake that still sticks with you that you made this year? What was that? Number 5, what did I learn from this mistake? Number 6, what new skills did I acquire this year? What are you now able to do that you weren't able to do before? And number 7, what did I get better at? What was something in my life that I got better at, more accomplished at this year? Number 8, 3 things I learned about myself are. And then list them. What are 3 things I learned about myself this year? Number 9, 3 things I learned about others this year are. So what are 3 things I learned about other people this year? Number 10, what one new habit did I gain this year? Or what did I start doing this year that I had never done before or didn't do on a regular basis? So what did I start doing this year? And number 11, what did I stop doing this year? What was the result of that? What was the result of stopping doing whatever that thing is? Number 12 is a big question. How have I grown this year? In 2017, how have I grown? Number 13, what was the most fun thing I experienced this year? And maybe you have more than one, but what was the most fun thing that you experienced this year? Number 14, what is the best memory I have from 2017? It might not be the most fun. It might not be the most important, but what is the best memory? When you think in the future about the year 2017, what is going to come to your mind first? What is your best memory of 2017? Number 15, what did I start that needs to be completed? What did I start that needs to be completed? Number 16, what can I leave behind in 2017? So what needs to be let go of? What am I done with? What can I leave behind? And it doesn't have to be a physical thing. It doesn't have to be a habit. It could be a state of being. Maybe I'm going to let go of a regret. Maybe I'm going to let go of a grudge. Maybe I'm going to forgive someone that I haven't been able to forgive yet. Maybe I'm going to stop wrestling with that, whatever that thing is, and let it go and move on. So what can I leave behind? What can I let go of in 2017? Or let go of in 2018, but that was, had me in its grasp in 2017. Number 17, how did I practice self-care this year? What did you do for you this past year? Number 18, what am I most thankful or most grateful for from 2017? What am I most thankful for? What am I most grateful for? Where will my biggest gratitude lie in what went on in 2017? Number 19, what am I most proud of this year? What am I most proud of? And this can be in your career, this can be in your life, this can be the fact that you got a job, this can be the fact that you decided what kind of a job you want to be looking for. It can be anything. It can be something in your life that has nothing to do with your work life. What am I most proud of this year? Number 20, what one thing that happened this year will I remember for the rest of my life? What is one thing that happened this year that I will remember for the rest of my life? Could be good, could be not good. What is one thing that happened in 2017 that I will never forget? Number 21 is what I accomplished this year. So whether that's in my work life or in my home life or in my fitness life, is what I accomplished in 2017 aligned with the overall dream for my life. So if you have this plan, you might not, but if you have a plan for how you want the rest of your life to go, if you have some values, if you have some dreams that are big, how did what you accomplished in 2017 fit into that bigger picture dream or goal? Some of these are hard questions, and this is why I say take some time. Take 45 minutes or an hour. You might need longer. You might just want to tackle a question or two a day for the next month and see how it goes. So that was number 21. Okay, 22. If I could change one thing about the year 2017, what would that one thing be? If I could change one thing about 2017, what would that one thing be? And the next two are fill in the blank questions. Number 23, fill in the blank. 2017 was the year of blank. So you might have a theme. You might have, maybe it was the year of new beginnings. Maybe it was a year of endings. What would you fill that blank in with? 2017 was the year of blank. The next one is also a fill in the blank. I am happy about how 2017 went because, and then fill that in. So I am happy about how 2017 went because. And the last question, number 25, if I could go back in time and if I could write my former self a letter, what 3 pieces of advice would I give myself as I headed into 2017? So how would knowing these pieces of advice have changed what happened this past year? So that's kind of a 2-part question. If I could go back in time and write a letter to my former self on the eve of 2017, what 3 pieces of advice would I give to myself as I faced this last year? And if I was able to do that, if I was able to travel back in time and do that, how would these pieces of advice have changed the outcome of 2017? There. So once you have answered all of these questions, or even as many of them as you can manage, you will have done some really deep work. You will have done some deep reflection, and you might even have the beginnings rumbling around inside you of a goal or 2 for the year 2018. You might already have that little bit of excitement rolling around. This is what I'm going to accomplish. Once you know where you've been and where you're at, I don't know. What I do know is that you will have become a little bit more self-aware from just completing these questions and answering these questions. You will have an idea of how you have grown. You will be able to look back and say, look what I accomplished. And you might even want to celebrate that. What you can embrace about the year 2017. And then you might also know what you can release, what you can let go of, so that when you are ringing out the year on the 31st of December, and when you're ringing in the new one at midnight, at 12:01 of 2018, you can do so from a place of knowing better what has happened, knowing better how you've grown and where you're at right now, and really looking forward to what might be in the year to come. So it's an important exercise. I hope you do this for your sake and ultimately for the sake of the world, because the more that we work on ourselves, the better humans we become and the better this planet gets. And I keep saying this, and I really believe it, that you are your best investment. You can't change other people, but you can absolutely work on being the best you that you can possibly be. So that's it, my friend. This is a short and sweet episode. All the best in the last few days of the month. I'm hoping to get one more show in before 2018. We'll see how that goes. But at any rate, I hope you enjoy your week. And if you celebrate Christmas, I wish you a beautiful one. If you don't, I wish you a beautiful week full of friends and family and love and light. This is Jenn Swanson. Talk to you soon.